Got an article today. Boy Scout councils pushed to share costs of sex abuse. This is from Wednesday, May 20th, the Austin American-Statesman. Bear with me. New York. 9 sex abuse lawsuits were filed Tuesday in New York against 3 Boy Scout local councils, signaling an escalation of efforts to pressure councils nationwide to pay a big share of an eventual settlement in the Scouts' bankruptcy proceedings. Pause there. Yeah, the Scouts are going through bankruptcy, and these lawsuits are now going through here. The lawsuits were filed shortly after an easing of coronavirus lockdown rules enabled courts in some parts of New York to resume the handling of civil cases. One of the lawyers coordinating the filing, Mike Fowl, said his Seattle-based firm expects to file scores more lawsuits in other parts of New York, as well as in New Jersey and California, after full reopening of courts there. 2 other firms, Oregon-based Crew, Jancy, LLP, and Chicago-based Hurley, McKenna, and Mertz, said they had similar plans, indicating there could be hundreds of such lawsuits altogether. At least through June 8th, an injunction issued by the bankruptcy judge Lori Silverstein, of course, blocks the lawyers from proceeding with lawsuits against the local councils. But several lawyers said they will press for the injunction to be lifted unless the council's financial information is fully disclosed, and they do agree to contribute significantly to a proposed victim compensation fund. The local councils are required to make a substantial contribution, said Stephen Crew of Crew Jancy. If they don't, the plan won't be approved. The Boy Scouts of America filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in February in hopes of surviving a barrage of lawsuits, many of them made possible by recent changes in state laws to allow people to sue over long ago sexual abuse. I sure hope so, by the way. But I'm going to stop right there. A lot of times when this sexual abuse occurs, all the times, it occurs when a parent trusts another adult with their child. And that can be a family member quite often. Quite often it's a teacher or daycare worker. And I just wanted to add, these daycares that claim to have all these cameras, it's hogwash. Who do you think placed the cameras there? Who do you think decided where the cameras would go? Did you go in yourself and check out all the cameras? Do you have time to check out that they're all running? There's no way. This is a reason to get you, the parent, to drop your guard. And yes, that even includes Cedar Park, Texas, and that even includes daycares that were shut down on Lakeline Drive. That's all I'm going to say about that one. You figure out the rest, because nobody, this is an issue when you bring up, people want to bury it. They want to shut you up. You don't even dare bring this up. If anybody's been through something like this in their family, oh boy, you just hit a subject that you are not allowed to talk about. And so I'm excited when I see this article here. Let's get on with it. Proceedings are underway at federal bankruptcy court in Delaware, aimed at creating a compensation fund for thousands of men molested as youngsters decades ago by scoutmasters or other leaders. In its bankruptcy filing, the Boy Scouts of America said the 261st local council, which have extensive property holdings and other assets, are separate legal entities and should not be included in debtors in the case. Of course they said that. The councils are represented by an ad hoc committee in the proceedings, and negotiations are in progress over disclosure of their assets and records as a step towards determining their contributions to the compensation fund. Fowl said he was skeptical the councils would agree to contributions large enough to forestall lawsuits against them. The lawsuits filed Tuesday involve allegations of abuse from men who were scouts decades ago in local councils in upstate New York that have subsequently merged into the Leatherstocking Council, the Baden-Powell Council, and the Seneca Waterways Council. Leaders of those three councils declined comment on the new lawsuits. Declined to comment. Two of them referred inquiries to Boy Scouts of America's headquarters, which issued a statement reiterating its goal of fairly compensating abuse survivors while preserving the Boy Scouts mission. We are working with and actively encouraging the ad hoc committees, councils, and attorneys representing survivors of abuse to find a solution that will appropriately fund a trust while also ensuring the future of scouting, the statement said. Lawyer Tim Kosnoff, whose Abused in Scouting legal team, says it's representing 3,200 clients in the bankruptcy case. Estimated that the local councils possess roughly 80% of total BSA assets, compared with about 20% for the Texas-based national office. Kosnoff said he worries some local councils might try to transfer assets in a way that would put them out of reach of bankruptcy proceedings. He wants Silverstein to prohibit that. Yeah, I second that one, buddy. It's not yet known how many claimants there will be in the bankruptcy case. Some lawyers say the number could approach 10,000 by November 16th, the deadline that was set Monday for abuse victims to file claims. More than 12,000 boys have been molested by 7,800 abusers since the 1920s, according to Boy Scout files revealed in court papers. According to Boy Scout files, wow. Most of the more recent cases date to the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, before the Boy Scouts adopted mandatory criminal background checks. Wow, that's scary. And abuse prevention training and protocols for all staff and volunteers. Anyway, thank you. We'll try to keep a watch on this story.